Okay, this is the last of the angles series. We're going to talk about all types of angles. And what you see in front of you are 3 words on the left that we haven't talked about and 3 words on the right that I would just like to review real quick and make sure that you have the definition and you understand the word. So word number 1 is adjacent. Adjacent simply means next to. Next to. And I actually wouldn't mind adding corresponding. All right, so angles, angles that are next to each other. Okay. Next to each other. That's adjacent angles. So here's an example. So an example of adjacent would look like this. Oops. So I have 4 angles, angles 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's take a look at angle 1. Okay, and it's actually as easy as it sounds. What angle is next to angle 1? Well, 4 is next to angle 1, so we can say angle 4 is adjacent next to angle 1. We could also say that angle 2 is adjacent to angle 1 because they're next to each other. We have to cross over a vertex to get to them. But be very careful, okay? Angle 1 and angle 4 are not adjacent. Angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical to each other. They're directly opposite one another. So angle 1 and angle 3 are equal to one another. The same as angle 2. Angle 2 is equal to angle 4. Okay, they are vertical. 2 and 4 would be vertical to each other. So adjacent means angles that are next to each other. All right, perpendicular. At the point of intersection, the angles equal 90 degrees. Okay, so when you have perpendicular angles, they make a set of 90-degree angles. What does that mean? Well, any of you ever get to a 4-way intersection and everyone has a stoplight? Okay, this example that I just drew here is considered perpendicular. Why? Because there's a right angle. There's a right angle in here. There's a 90-degree right angle here. There's a third right angle here, and there's a third 90-degree right angle in there. So this is one example of a perpendicular set of lines, because the point of intersection would be right here, right in the center, and the 4 angles are 90 degrees. But not all perpendicular lines make a plus. Some perpendicular lines, you come to the end of the road, but you can only make a left or a right. This is another example of perpendicular lines because it still creates 90-degree angles at the point of intersection. Okay, so those are perpendicular lines. Next, I want to take a look at parallel lines. 2 lines who are the same distance apart will never meet and go on forever. So parallel lines look like this. Okay, so we have 2 set of lines. Okay, and typically when you see parallel, you'll actually see like a little triangle on the line to show that, say, line L is parallel to line M. So these two lines have the same distance, so from here to here, same distance apart. From here to here, same distance apart. From here to here, same distance apart. So the line, they go on forever in this direction, forever and ever, and they will never intersect each other. They will never meet, and they just go on forever. And we'll need parallel lines in just a little bit. And finally, corresponding, we've talked about it. And I want to talk more about corresponding angles. Angles in the same position, angles that are in the same position. These angles are equal to each other. Okay, we talked about corresponding angles in a previous chapter, but we are going to use it again today. So I want to take a look at a set of parallel lines. Okay, it's being cut by a line. Oops. This line actually that I just drew that cut through the parallel lines is called the transversal. Okay, transversal. The transversal is simply a line that passes through a set of parallel lines. All right, that's it. Okay, so here are my lines. This line is parallel to this line. The one cutting through I'm going to call T, and the parallel lines I'll call X and Y. So 1 and 3. Angle 1 and angle 3 are considered corresponding. If you look at each line separately, so I don't want that. If you look at each line separately, okay, angle 1 is in the top left position. If I go to the second line and look at 3, 3 on line Y is in the top left position. So angle 1 and angle 3 are both in the top left position of their line. So they're considered corresponding angles. So if I take a look at, say, 2 and 4, 2 and 4 are corresponding because they're both in the top right of each line. If I do 5 and 7, 5 and 7 are corresponding because they're both on the bottom left of each given line. Bottom left for X, bottom left for Y. And if I take a look at 6 and 8, 6 and 8 are corresponding because they're both bottom right for each given line. So let's review real quick our vocab words. Okay, vertical, we touched upon that again. They're angles that are directly opposite each other. Complementary are two angles that add up to equal 90 degrees. Supplementary are two angles that add to equal 180 degrees. And once again, the transversal is a line that cuts through two parallel lines to create 8 angles. All right, let's go to the next page. So what we have here are two parallel lines, and we're given one angle measure. Angle measure 3 is 127 degrees. All right, 3 and 1 are vertical, so I know angle 1 is 127. Okay, if we take a look at this shape like this, angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary to each other. That means they're going to equal 180 degrees. So if I take 180 and subtract 27, I get 100. I messed up somewhere. Hold on one second. Oh, angle 3. Oh, 127. There's my mistake. Sorry about that. I wrote 27, not 127. So here we go. I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to subtract 127. I get 53 degrees. That means angle 2 is 53 degrees. We have everything that we need to know at this point. So what I can do now is I can take a look at angle 4 because they're vertical. So if angle 2 is 53, I know angle 4 is 53 degrees. Okay, remember just before we were talking about corresponding angles? All right, all of these angles, since these two lines are parallel to each other, they're going to equal the same exact angle measures. So all we need to do is find the corresponding angle measures. So angle 2 is in the same position as 6. They are matching angles. They're in the same spot. So that means angle 6 is 53 degrees because it corresponds to angle 2. All right, you don't have to write the 2. I'm just showing it to you. All right, angle 1 corresponds to angle 5 because they are in the same position. So that means angle 5 is 127 degrees. All right. Angle 3 corresponds to angle 7 because they're both in the bottom left of each of their given lines. So if angle 3 is 127, angle 7 is 127. And finally, if you take a look at angle 4, we know angle 4 is 53 degrees, and it corresponds to angle 8 because they're both in the bottom right. So that means angle 8 is 53 degrees because it corresponds to angle 4. All right, we're going to do 2 more examples just like these. And there are many other reasons how we can find these answers. I'm just showing you one for today. So let's go to example number 2. All right, example number 2, we know that angle 2 is 83 degrees. Okay, I know 2 plus 1 has to equal 180 because they are supplementary angles. So 180 minus 83 is 97 degrees. Okay, so this is 97. I know angle 2 is vertical to 4. So I know angle 4 is 83 degrees. I know angle 1 is vertical to 3. So 3 is 97 degrees. Okay, and once again, we're going to do corresponding angles. Okay, angle 1, 97. Angle 2 is 83. 83 and 97. So let's take a look here. Angle 2 corresponds to angle 6. So that means angle 6 is 83 degrees. If I take a look here, angle 1 corresponds, it's in the same position, they match to angle 5. So angle 5 is 97 degrees. Okay, if I take a look at angle 3, it's in the same position as the other line where angle 7 is. So angle 7 is 97 degrees. And finally, if you take a look at angle 4, it's in the same position as angle 8. So angle 8 is 83 degrees. Okay, we have 2 more examples just like these. If you need to pause at any point, please do so. All right, angle 3, or example 3, I'm sorry. We know angle 1 is 134 degrees. So to find angle 2, since these are supplements of each other, I'm going to take 180 and minus 34. So 10 minus 4 is 6, 7 minus 3 is 4. So that means angle 2 is 46 degrees. 134. I know angle 1 and 3 are vertical, so this is 134 degrees. I know angles 2 and 4 are vertical, so that's 46 degrees. So 46, angle 3 is 134, angle 4 is 46. Okay, once again, take a look at angle 2. It's in the same position as angle 6, so angle 6 is 46 degrees. Okay, next, I know angle 1 is in the same position as angle 5 because the lines are parallel. That's how I know. So angle 1 and angle 5 are equal, so that means this is 134 degrees. Okay, angle 3 is in the same position as angle 7, so that means angle 7 is equal to 134 degrees. And finally, I know angle 4 is in the same position or equal to angle 8, so that's 46 degrees. Okay, what I'd like for you to do is draw out number 4. Okay, in number 4, we know angle 4 is 60 degrees. And I would like for you to try to complete this one on your own, and we'll talk about it together. All right, great work, guys. Great work hanging in there. Thank you.